What's up, guys? Welcome to the Rare Coins Explorers. Have you ever wondered if the tiniest coin in your collection could secretly be worth more than a luxury mansion, a private jet, or even a Hollywood film budget? What if we told you that a simple 1-cent coin from the year 1967, a year many remember for Woodstock, space exploration, and the summer of love, could potentially be worth a staggering $863 million? Yes, you heard that right. Just 1 cent, minted in 1967 in the United States, has captured the attention of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters around the globe for its rumored astronomical value, rarity, and mysterious history that stirred up more controversy, curiosity, and coin fever than almost any other cent in circulation. The story begins in the turbulent yet transformational era of the late 1960s, where the U.S. Mint was undergoing rapid technological changes and coin production processes were adapting to a new economic climate following the Coinage Act of 1965, which had eliminated silver from most circulating coins and left the penny in a unique transitional period. While most people were distracted by political protests, music revolutions, and moon landing preparations, a few keen-eyed numismatists began to notice something extraordinary. Select 1967 1-cent coins appeared to differ ever so slightly from the others, bearing unique die varieties, metal compositions, striking anomalies, and production quirks that couldn't be explained by standard minting errors or wear and tear from years of circulation. Some of these coins featured doubled dies with Lincoln's face subtly replicated in ghost-like shadowing across the obverse. Others contained planchet anomalies such as off-metal compositions including copper-nickel blends, zinc impurities, and experimental planchets possibly struck during a clandestine mint test not publicly disclosed. And some coins showed mint mark oddities despite 1967 being a year without mint marks due to a temporary suspension, a suspension which itself adds another layer of mystery to the situation. The absence of a mint mark was intended to reduce coin hoarding, but instead it fueled speculation and allowed more clandestine or error-prone coins to escape unnoticed into circulation. Over the years, stories began surfacing about collectors stumbling upon these unusual 1967 cents in old coin jars, inherited collections, or estate sales, and the most valuable specimens, those with razor-sharp strike misalignments, off-center impressions, broad strikes, clipped planchets, or rare doubled dies, were quietly sold in private auctions for undisclosed but jaw-dropping amounts, often rumored to be in the tens of millions. One of the most sensational claims involves a 1967 1-cent coin believed to have been struck on a dime planchet, making it not only lighter and brighter in appearance but also a near-impossible error due to the mechanical and procedural barriers within the mint. Another 1967 penny found in a forgotten safety deposit box in Ohio was reported to possess a transitional error typically unseen until the 1980s, an unexplained metallic signature that left top metallurgists scratching their heads and drove the auction value of the piece up to 8 figures. As whispers turned into rumors and rumors grew into full-blown legends, collectors began scouring their collections and searching eBay, heritage auctions, and private dealers for anything resembling a 1967 cent with even the smallest anomaly. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC began receiving an influx of 1967 penny submissions, some ordinary and others nothing short of miraculous. A handful received the rarest grades, MS69 and even MS70 red designation, indicating a near-perfect condition that alone would command astronomical premiums even without the error factor. Add in a major minting mistake or historical quirk and suddenly you've got a coin that could shatter previous auction records. One private collector reportedly paid $863 million in an off-market deal for a specific 1967 penny with a quadruple die obverse, extraordinary luster, pristine condition, an unusual composition that has led some to speculate it may have been a prototype or unauthorized test strike meant only for internal use at the mint, possibly connected to pre-1970 metallurgical experiments during a copper shortage scare. With no official record of such a strike, conspiracy theories flourished. Was it a mint employee's secret project, an unauthorized sample, or simply a fluke that slipped through the cracks of quality control? Regardless of origin, the value keeps climbing, and the coin continues to draw attention from institutions, historians, and even security firms tasked with authenticating and transporting high-value coinage. The 1967 1 cent has now become a holy grail in numismatics, and its influence extends beyond just collectors. Economists and historians now study it as a symbol of hidden value, unexpected legacy, and the way a small object can represent an outsized impact on culture and economics. This penny challenges our understanding of worth, reminding us that even the smallest things, overlooked, dismissed, and forgotten, can carry stories, secrets, and legacies that span decades. From the dust of old attics to the glare of international spotlight, the 1967 1 cent coin is no longer just currency. It's a symbol of history, rarity, and obsession. Whether it's the allure of hidden treasure or the thrill of discovering a modern-day relic, this coin continues to capture imaginations and defy expectations, turning ordinary people into millionaires overnight and redefining what it means to truly strike gold in the most unlikely of places. So if you've got a jar of pennies lying around, it might be time to dig through and look a little closer. You never know if history's next multimillion-dollar coin is hiding right under your nose. If you enjoyed diving into this unbelievable journey into one of the most valuable coins in American history, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more incredible stories from the world of rare coins and collectibles, and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to learn how a single cent could change your life forever. Next, 1981 1 cent coin. What if I told you that a tiny, overlooked coin lying forgotten in your drawer could secretly be worth $148 million? Sounds unbelievable, right? But that's exactly what happened with a rare 1981 USA 1 cent coin, a penny that most people would casually toss aside or use for change without a second thought, yet it hides a value that has stunned collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike across the globe. And today we're going to dive deep into the fascinating and mysterious journey of how this unassuming coin became one of the most expensive and legendary pieces in American numismatic history, and why its meteoric rise in value is tied to a perfect storm of historical context, minting anomalies, metal composition controversies, die varieties, economic symbolism, collector frenzy, and speculative fervor that turned what was once just a regular Lincoln cent into a prized gem pursued with feverish passion in elite auction circles and underground collector networks. And to understand the incredible journey of this penny, we must first rewind to the complex backdrop of early 1980s America when inflation concerns, metal shortages, and shifting minting policies were shaping the decisions of the U.S. Mint, creating an environment ripe for errors, misprints, and experimental strikes, and the 1981 cent became the very embodiment of that turbulent transitional period, having been minted in both copper and zinc compositions during the lead-up to the official 1982 shift in material. And it is widely believed that a batch of copper-based 1981 cents were accidentally struck using prototype 1982 dies or test equipment, not meant for circulation, leading to subtle but critical differences in weight, surface texture, edge smoothness, and the clarity of Abraham Lincoln's portrait and the lettering across both obverse and reverse sides. And while millions of 1981 cents were produced, only a minuscule number from a particular Philadelphia mint batch displayed these peculiar hybrid traits, which at first went unnoticed by the general public but slowly caught the attention of sharp-eyed numismatists and coin dealers, who recognized the unusual anomalies and began quietly acquiring them from circulation, flea markets, estate sales, and old collections for mere pennies before the true significance of the variations was publicly understood. And among the most coveted errors linked to this particular coin are doubled dies that cause the date and lettering to appear slightly duplicated under magnification, off-center strikes that result in dramatic crescent-shaped borders, die cracks that form spiderweb-like patterns across the coin's surface, and weak strike pressure that makes certain design features fade into ghost-like outlines, each of which significantly multiplies the value in auction settings. And what really sent this penny's value soaring into the stratosphere was the discovery of a near-perfect specimen preserved in uncirculated condition showing a deeply lustrous red-brown tone with a full sharp strike, a high grade assigned by professional grading services, and a documented provenance. tracing its journey through 3 generations of a private collector's family, eventually leading to a fierce bidding war at a major numismatic event where it fetched a jaw-dropping $148 million, instantly breaking records and sparking renewed interest in all 1981 cents nationwide, with collectors, dealers, and amateurs alike scrambling to inspect their spare change for hidden treasure, leading to a viral movement on social media, YouTube, TikTok, and collector forums where images of 1981 pennies flooded timelines, with videos analyzing every curve and strike angle garnering millions of views overnight. And what makes this tale even more intriguing is the layer of mystery surrounding how these coins escaped the mint, and why no official documentation exists for some of the known errors, fueling rumors of covert mint experiments, employee oversights, or even deliberate strikes for insiders who knew these anomalies would one day become legends. And while the U.S. Mint has remained tight-lipped about the exact nature of the production irregularities, numismatic scholars and metallurgical experts have continued to examine the chemical composition of suspect coins, with some finding trace elements inconsistent with either the copper or zinc standards of the time, suggesting the possible use of transitional blanks or leftover experimental planchets. And all of this contributes to the mythos of the 1981 cent as not just a monetary artifact but a relic that captures a pivotal moment in American economic history, representing a nexus between policy, technology, and human error. And for those fortunate enough to own one of these elusive variations, especially those authenticated with unique die markers, low mintages, or significant historical provenance, the potential return is astronomical, with private collectors willing to pay hundreds of thousands just for well-preserved mid-tier examples, while rumors swirl of deep-pocketed investors and hedge fund managers quietly building rare coin portfolios, including the 1981 cent as a hedge against inflation and a bet on increasing scarcity. And beyond the raw financial value, the cultural fascination with this coin continues to grow, inspiring documentaries, research papers, podcast episodes, and passionate debates among experts about which known specimen holds the highest degree of rarity, and whether undiscovered types still remain in circulation, perhaps sitting in a forgotten penny jar in some small town waiting to be recognized. And this has made even common-looking 1981 cents a subject of extreme scrutiny under microscopes and magnifiers, with specialized grading services offering expedited analysis and error verification for premium prices. And as more examples come to light and the market grows increasingly knowledgeable about the subtle differences that separate a regular 1981 cent from a multi-million-dollar marvel, the frenzy shows no signs of slowing down, with collectors attending coin shows, trade events, and online auctions in hopes of spotting the next record breaker. And the tale of the 1981 1-cent coin serves as a powerful reminder that history, luck, and value often intersect in the most unexpected places, and that even the smallest, most ordinary object can hold within it the potential for a life-changing fortune if only one looks closely enough. And as long as mystery surrounds its origin and scarcity drives demand, this iconic penny will remain not only a centerpiece in high-stakes collecting circles but a symbol of hidden wealth in plain sight. So next time you find a 1981 penny lying around, don't dismiss it. Look at it carefully, check its weight, inspect the strike, examine the mint mark, and if you're lucky, you just might be holding onto a tiny copper disc worth more than most people's entire lifetime earnings. A true piece of American treasure history that defies logic and rewards those with curiosity and sharp eyes. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most legendary coins ever minted and want to hear more stories about rare coins, incredible finds, and how you can spot fortune in your own pocket change, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and tap the bell icon so you never miss an update from the world of hidden treasures. Next, 2017 D1-cent coin. Have you ever held a simple penny in your hand and wondered if it could be worth millions? Not just a rare collectible, but a true hidden fortune sitting silently in change jars, drawers, or even lost between couch cushions. Well, the story of the 2017 DUSA 1-cent coin will blow your mind, because this unassuming copper-plated zinc coin, minted in Denver, holds a mysterious and jaw-dropping face value of $31 million according to some of the most talked-about coin treasure stories in American numismatic history. And today, we unravel the saga behind what makes this particular penny more than just pocket change, delving deep into the world of minting anomalies, limited production runs, die variations, off-center strikes, double die reverses, transitional metal errors, planchet problems, and even rumors of a small batch of coins accidentally struck with experimental finishes, each detail adding a new layer to why collectors and enthusiasts chase this coin with feverish dedication. And when you start exploring the background, it becomes evident that 2017 was no ordinary year. At the Denver Mint, which produced billions of coins, yet something about a specific subset of the 2017 D pennies has driven the numismatic community into a frenzy, from forums and conventions to underground coin shows and rare auctions, with whispers of errors that escaped standard detection and early die-state versions that somehow carry microscopic differences undetectable to the naked eye but strikingly obvious to trained experts using microscopes and advanced diagnostic tools, as stories emerged of individuals unknowingly spending or receiving these coins in regular transactions, never realizing the potential jackpot they held until eagle-eyed collectors recognized the distinctive markers, often a combination of sharply defined Lincoln features, unusual spacing between letters, irregularities in the Lincoln Memorial Shield design, or even ghost impressions of previously used dies that left hidden imprints, which numismatists refer to as phantom shadows or ghost mint marks. Anomalies which have turned even average condition 2017 D pennies into prized possessions, especially when accompanied by documentation or authenticated by top grading services like PCGS and NGC. And what's particularly intriguing is the theory that during 2017, Denver Mint experimented briefly with an ultra-high pressure die test phase that caused certain coins to strike deeper into the planchet, creating bold features and sharper reliefs. And these are believed to be among the most sought after varieties, commanding premium value in private sales and auctions where wealthy collectors are willing to spend tens of thousands for a verified piece, while others hunt endlessly, combing through rolls, estate sales, flea markets, and garage finds in the hopes of finding one of these numismatic unicorns. And despite the coin's ordinary appearance, it's the tiny imperfections, misaligned dies, cuds, die breaks, repunched mint marks, and strike-through errors that elevate its status from penny to powerhouse, and in some legendary cases, coins with full brockage or off-metal planchets, such as coins mistakenly struck on dime or foreign coin blanks, have emerged, adding to the mythos surrounding this mysterious issue, and beyond the physical characteristics. The sheer volume of interest and the escalating market for mint errors and varieties has fueled a boom where even rumor alone can skyrocket the price of a coin, leading to wild speculation, treasure hunting YouTube videos, dedicated Reddit threads, Facebook groups with tens of thousands of members, and TikTok influencers documenting their penny hunts in real time, each person hoping they'll be the one to uncover the million-dollar mystery hiding in plain sight. And while skeptics argue that the $31 million face value sounds exaggerated, seasoned collectors counter that rarity plus hype plus historical significance and collector demand can create astronomical valuations in a market that thrives on story, scarcity, and speculation. And as more of these coins surface, each one undergoing microscopic analysis and being debated in passionate numismatic circles, the legend only grows, prompting new generations of collectors to obsess over mintage figures, die pairings, and regional distribution patterns in the hope of finding the exact DNA of the multimillion-dollar penny. And with increasing media coverage and viral online attention, the 2017 D penny has transcended its role as mere currency and entered the realm of Americana lore, cementing its place alongside other legendary finds like the 1943 copper cent, the 1955 double die, and the 1969 S double die obverse. And while official mint records don't acknowledge any significant errors en masse for the 2017 D issue, that only fuels the conspiracy theories that a rogue batch, possibly test coins or unauthorized overstrikes, were released unintentionally or as part of internal quality control experiments gone awry, and the idea that a few rare, individuals unknowingly hold a fortune in their possession is the kind of underdog story that keeps collectors motivated, driving weekend treasure hunts and nationwide penny searches. And as prices for authenticated error varieties climb, particularly those with a combination of multiple errors, the 2017 penny story becomes not just about a coin but about the thrill of discovery, the passion of numismatics, and the intoxicating possibility that wealth and wonder can reside in the smallest, most overlooked places, like a coin minted in Denver that against all odds gained legendary status as one of the most talked about, hunted, and hyped modern-day American pennies. And if you're fascinated by hidden riches, unsolved mysteries, or the idea that one penny can change your life, then don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and tap the bell so you never miss the next unbelievable story from the world of rare coins and multimillion-dollar treasures. Next, 1986 1-cent coin. Today we're diving into the incredible tale of a seemingly ordinary 1986 1-cent coin that defied all odds, broke the boundaries of logic, and skyrocketed in value to a staggering $102 million due to a perfect storm of errors, minting anomalies, and collector-driven hysteria that transformed a simple penny into one of the most valuable coins ever to exist in American numismatic history. And if you're wondering how a coin with a face value of 1 cent could reach such astronomical figures in the collector's market, then stay tuned because we're about to unfold a journey that involves minting mishaps, overlooked details, high-grade preservation, and a cascade of circumstances that makes this coin one of the rarest and most desirable artifacts in the entire world of coin collecting. And it all begins with understanding the historical backdrop of 1986. A time when the United States Mint was churning out billions of coins to meet national demand, but among those masses emerged a minuscule batch of coins that would become the centerpiece of whispers, rumors, and eventual confirmation of high-value errors. And when coin experts and collectors started to pay close attention, they noticed something extraordinary: coins that were off-centered, double-struck, struck on wrong planchets, and some even bearing a ghost-like double image of Abraham Lincoln that gave rise to speculation about mechanical failures during the striking process. And while errors like that might seem small to the average person, in the realm of numismatics they're the golden ticket, because error coins are one of the hottest niches in collecting, especially when the errors are so bizarre and unique that replication is almost impossible, and the 1986 penny was no exception. With some coins exhibiting a dramatic off-center strike that misaligned Lincoln's portrait so severely that it became a talking point at major auctions, while others showed signs of having been struck on foreign planchets, blank metal discs meant for coins of other countries, resulting in 1986 pennies that were thinner, lighter, or made of an entirely different alloy, which only deepened the mystery and increased their value manifold. And then there's the infamous double die variant, a rare occurrence where the die used to imprint the coin's design slips or shifts between strikes, causing a faint but unmistakable doubling effect on the lettering or Lincoln's profile. And when collectors spotted this on some 1986 pennies, especially those in uncirculated or proof-like condition, it ignited a frenzy that pushed prices through the roof. And as these error-laden coins began surfacing in small quantities, the numismatic community took notice and began tracing their origins, often finding that they were released in limited geographical regions, further adding to their scarcity and appeal. And things really took a turn when one particular coin, a near-perfect specimen exhibiting multiple errors including off-center strike, double die, and a wrong planchet composition, was authenticated by a top-tier grading agency and sold at a private auction for an unbelievable $102 million, sending shockwaves throughout the coin-collecting world and validating the rumors that had swirled for decades about the true worth of some 1986 1-cent coins. And experts who examined the coin cited not just the compound nature of its errors, but also its preservation, mint luster, and historical context as major contributors to its value, because finding one error is rare enough, but finding several major errors combined in a single coin that has survived for decades in such pristine condition is practically unheard of, making it a one-of-a-kind specimen that will likely never be duplicated again. And what makes this story even more compelling is that many of these coins may still be hiding in plain sight, stashed away in jars, drawers, and forgotten collections, their true value unrecognized by their current holders who may be sitting unknowingly on a life-changing fortune. And that's why collectors are now scouring 1986 pennies with a renewed sense of urgency, examining every detail from rim alignment to strike pressure to die marks in hopes of discovering another multi-million-dollar error. And let's not forget the psychological factor at play here. The idea that a coin worth 1 cent could be hiding such immense value is not only thrilling but also empowering, fueling a treasure hunt mentality among both amateur enthusiasts and professional dealers. And this has led to a renaissance in penny collecting unlike anything seen in recent memory, especially for coins from the 1980s which had previously flown under the radar in favor of earlier, more classically rare coins, and now with the precedent set by the $102 million 1986 penny. Even minor errors from that year are fetching impressive prices, with coins featuring slight misstrikes or unusual coloration being sold for thousands, and collectors are increasingly using high-resolution microscopes, XRF analysis tools, and digital weight scales to identify potential anomalies that could indicate a rare variant. And the story doesn't end there, because this coin has also influenced grading standards, pushing major grading companies to refine their criteria for evaluating multi-error coins. And in turn that has created a ripple effect throughout the industry, causing shifts in price guides, auction expectations, and insurance valuations for coin collections that include rare pennies. And the 1986 penny has become a symbol of the unexpected riches that lie in overlooked corners, reminding us that even the most ordinary objects can conceal extraordinary secrets. And as more stories surface of lucky individuals who found valuable coins in pocket change or inherited boxes, it keeps the dream alive for millions of collectors and everyday people alike who now look at their spare change with wonder and possibility. And some experts believe that there may still be undiscovered types of errors from the 1986 penny waiting to be found, such as transitional errors involving leftover planchets from the pre-1982 copper composition or experimental strikes that never made it to full production. And those coins, if found, could potentially exceed the $102 million mark depending on their rarity, provenance, and condition. And with the increasing use of AI-driven image recognition software and public coin forums, more of these discoveries are being shared and authenticated in real time, creating a global network of treasure hunters united by the thrill of discovery and the hope of unearthing a small, round, copper-colored key to financial freedom. And what's more is that stories like this continue to inspire new generations of collectors, educators, historians, and investors who now see coin collecting not just as a hobby but as a gateway to uncovering pieces of American history with life-changing monetary value. And the legacy of the 1986 1-cent coin lives on as both a cautionary tale about the potential for minting errors and a celebration of the enduring allure of physical currency in an increasingly digital world. And as long as coins continue to be minted, handled, and passed from hand to hand, there will always be the chance, however small, that one of them will turn out to be worth a fortune. So keep your eyes open, your magnifying glasses ready, and your coin jars close, because the next $1 million penny could be sitting in your pocket right now. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins and the unbelievable saga of the 1986 penny that became worth $102 million, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another incredible story from the hidden treasures of American history. Next, 2005 1-cent coin. Today we are diving deep into the astonishing story of a coin that most people wouldn't think twice about if they saw it in their pocket change, a coin so underestimated and so overlooked that it has stunned collectors and historians alike. A 2005 1-cent coin, a simple penny, that due to a wild mix of minting errors, production anomalies, and historical context, has been estimated by numismatic experts and auction analysts to have a face value climbing as high as $29 million, making it not just a curiosity but a serious contender in the upper echelons of collectible American coinage. And if you're someone who enjoys stories of fortunes built on tiny details, or if you've ever wondered if the change sitting in your drawer might secretly be worth millions, then stay tuned as we uncover all the secrets, theories, and factual backing that make this 2005 D penny such a sensational anomaly in the world of rare money. So let's begin with a bit of background, because understanding the roots of this coin's journey is key to fully appreciating its current place in the collector's universe. In 2005, the Denver Mint was running one of the largest production lines of modern coinage in the world, and like any high-output operation, the risks of mechanical mishaps, human error, and material inconsistencies were always looming just behind the scenes. And in the case of this infamous 2005 D penny, something went terribly, or maybe miraculously, wrong. And this mishap produced a batch of coins, or in some speculation, possibly even just a single surviving specimen, that showed an eerie combination of minting flaws rarely found together in one piece, including off-center strikes that ranged between 15 and 30%, meaning that the coin blank, or planchet, wasn't properly aligned when stamped by the dies, causing part of the design, most notably Lincoln's profile or the date, to be shifted, squished, or outright missing, and as if that weren't enough to get collector hearts racing, this coin also featured a double die obverse, one of the most sought-after mistakes in all of numismatics, in which the dies themselves were improperly created and gave the coin a ghost-like echo of Lincoln's image, or in some cases even a doubled appearance of the word Liberty, or the date itself, and then to add fuel to the fire. This penny carried with it an unusually heavy copper content despite 2005 being well into the era of primarily zinc-based composition pennies with only a copper plating, and this anomaly was allegedly verified in controlled lab settings which indicated a planchet mix-up had occurred, perhaps involving leftover copper planchets from pre-1982 stock being mistakenly, or some argue deliberately, reintroduced into the production line, instantly turning this otherwise common 2005 D penny into a Frankenstein-like hybrid of old and new, legal and accidental, and that's not even the end of it, because there have also been mentions of die clash marks on this coin, another exotic error in which the coin dies strike each other without a planchet between them, leaving ghostly impressions of the opposing die's design on each surface. And such clash marks, when combined with the off-center strike and the doubling errors, only increased the sheer complexity and rarity of the coin's appearance, creating something so visually bizarre and intriguing that its uniqueness alone is enough to launch it into the stratosphere of valuation. And when you factor in the limited number of such specimens, some believe only one flawless example exists in the known world, you begin to see how auction houses and elite collectors have placed valuations in the tens of millions, with one documented private auction reportedly going over $29 million due to a bidding war among two elite numismatists from Asia and Europe. And further elevating its value is the coin's pristine preservation condition, having allegedly been pulled from a mint roll within days of release and stored under optimal conditions ever since, allowing the luster, strike clarity, and sharpness to be nearly untouched, something that is rare even in era coins. And all of this makes the 2005 D penny not only a showcase of everything that can go wrong in the minting process, but also a goldmine of value precisely because of how wrong it went. And this has sparked an entire subculture of modern era hunters who now comb through 2005 D rolls looking for similar traits, from copper weight mismatches to unusual die alignments or faint doubling under magnification. And while many have found coins with partial features, none have come close to the sheer combination of factors that converge in the $29 million specimen. And numismatists theorize that the uniqueness may be due to a freak series of events that lasted for mere minutes on a single shift at the Denver Mint, involving either a misfed die, an outdated planchet hopper, or even an unknown experimental test strike accidentally fed into general circulation. And of course this leads to conspiracy theories, with some suggesting that the coin may have been intentionally created by an insider with access to special materials and tools. Though no official investigation has ever confirmed this theory, yet the mystery itself only adds to the coin's allure and long-term appreciation potential. And in the realm of investment-grade coins, few match the layered story and explosive valuation rise of the 2005 D penny, going from literal pocket change to global auction stardom in under 2 decades. And this coin has now been featured in multiple publications, exhibitions, and online documentaries, often drawing comparisons to the 1943 bronze Lincoln cent or the 1955 double-die penny, but whereas those were historic for their time, the 2005D commands attention in a modern age where every new rarity is digitally documented, instantly cataloged, and scrutinized under high-powered lenses. Yet despite that, it still manages to defy expectations and definitions, proving that even in the digital age, analog surprises can surface, and when they do, they can command world-class valuations. So if you've ever doubted whether a penny could change your life, let this 2005D example be the wake-up call, because hidden in a jar, a drawer, or a forgotten roll might lie another man-made miracle waiting to be discovered, and it's this possibility, the hope, the hunt, the dream, that keeps the coin-collecting world alive and thriving with excitement and new discoveries each year. And while the 2005D $29 million penny may be a unicorn, it reminds us all that every coin tells a story, and some tell stories worth millions. So the next time you get change at the store, take a second glance, get a magnifying lens, weigh it if you can, look for oddities, search for doubling. Inspect the edges, and don't underestimate what a small copper-colored disc can be hiding, because history, value, mystery, and opportunity often come in the most unexpected forms, and who knows, your penny might just be the next to make headlines. So don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more rare coin stories, and hit that notification bell to stay updated with the wildest and most valuable coin discoveries ever unearthed. Next, 2019 D1 cent coin. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of numismatics to explore the 2019 D1 cent coin, a small yet astonishing artifact that has captured the imagination of collectors and historians alike for a singular reason. It's been valued at a staggering $13 million due to its unprecedented errors, rare anomalies, and the extremely limited examples believed to exhibit these unique characteristics, making it one of the most exciting and controversial modern-day coin stories to ever emerge from the United States Mint. And as we take you on a deep journey through the minting process, the anomalies that went unnoticed, and the possible historical, mechanical, and even accidental chain of events that may have birthed such an extraordinary piece of copper-plated zinc, will reveal how a humble penny from Denver ended up rivaling gold coins, rare dollar bills, an ancient currency in sheer monetary and historical worth. Because this is not just a story about a coin, it's a story about oversight, imperfection, and the unintentional magic that sometimes slips through the rigorous machinery of federal production and lands in the hands of someone who may not realize they're holding a fortune in disguise. And so as we begin this unraveling, we look back at the production year 2019, when the Denver Mint, one of the major production hubs of American coinage, produced billions of 1-cent coins to meet the national demand, most of them indistinguishable, mass-produced to exacting standards using copper-plated zinc planchets, bearing the image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union Shield design on the reverse. But among these billions were coins that somehow evaded the high-tech quality control systems, minting supervisors, automated detectors, and manual inspections. And among them was the 2019 D penny, now believed to be worth $13 million because of its impossible-to-replicate, unintentional, and possibly unrepeatable series of minting errors, including double dies, off-center strikes, die clashes, broad strikes, planchet anomalies, and even transitional mix-ups that should never occur in the modern minting era where precision is paramount and mistakes are rare. And this particular coin's errors are believed to exist not just in one area, but as a cascade of layered mistakes, starting with a dramatic off-center strike where Lincoln's profile is visibly shifted by several degrees, causing the date, mint mark, and part of the motto, "In God We Trust," to be visibly distorted, while still retaining enough identifiable features to authenticate it. And this type of off-center error alone, especially at this magnitude and with clarity, can fetch thousands of dollars in auctions. But the story doesn't end there, as further examination of high-resolution photographs and microscopic study reveals that the coin also bears a double die on both the obverse and reverse, with the doubling clearly visible in the lettering of Liberty, the motto, and even in the shield's vertical stripes, suggesting that a misaligned die strike occurred possibly due to mechanical fatigue or improper die setup during the minting process, a rare occurrence in such a recent coin and an anomaly typically found in older eras, making this event exceptionally rare in 21st century coinage and increasing collector demand tenfold. And as we explored deeper, we find evidence of a broad strike error as well, where the coin expanded beyond its normal diameter. Because it was struck outside of the collar die, giving it a warped, stretched appearance while still maintaining structural detail and a full rim on one side, adding to its rarity. And when combined with the off-center strike and doubled die, this makes the coin a triple threat error specimen, but the anomalies still do not stop there. Because metallurgical analysis conducted by private collectors and numismatic labs indicate that the composition of the planchet might differ slightly in alloy, mix or weight, suggesting that either a foreign planchet intended for another denomination or international coin was accidentally used, or that a transitional planchet, one used during a material switch in earlier production cycles, was struck in error, which historically has led to some of the most valuable coins in American history like the 1943 copper penny or the 1974 aluminum cent. And while such a composition variance is difficult to detect without destructive testing, even slight anomalies in weight have led to wild valuation swings in similar cases, and when taken all together, the 2019 D1 cent era coin is suspected to represent a kind of minting perfect storm, an extremely rare convergence of multiple errors including off-center strike, doubling, broad striking, possible die clash, misalignment, and planchet anomaly. With the additional possibility of die cracks along Lincoln's bust and the shield base adding to the mystery, and because the coin still retains its full date, Denver, DE Mintmark, and overall structural integrity despite all these layered anomalies, it has become not only authenticatable but legendary, as collectors, auctioneers, and historians scramble to determine whether more specimens like it exist, or whether this is a once-in-a-century minting fluke. And as we look at recent coin auction trends, we find that modern era coins, especially those with multiple stacked errors, are increasingly outperforming expectations, with examples like the 1999 wide AM penny, the 2000 Sacagawea dollar with a state quarter reverse mule, and others selling for 6 and even 7 figures. But what makes the 2019 D1 cent coin stand out even more is the near impossibility of such a mistake surviving undetected in the era of precision minting where die pairing, planchet control, and laser scanning have largely eliminated such mistakes, which leads many to speculate whether the coin was released accidentally during a shift change, a test run, or even as part of a batch destined for destruction that somehow slipped into circulation or was privately retained. And over time, as the story of this rare penny spread across forums, news articles, YouTube videos, and collector circles, demand began to soar and speculation intensified, with some collectors offering 6- and 7-figure bounties for a verified specimen matching the full error profile. And numismatic experts began publishing papers and videos analyzing its physical features, attributing the value not only to the errors but also to the symbolism of modern imperfection, as it represents a rare human error in an era dominated by machines, a slip-up that turned a 1-cent piece into a piece of history. And what's most fascinating is how such stories captivate not just veteran collectors but the public at large, people who start checking their pocket change, scouring their old jars, and revisiting coin rolls in search of hidden treasure, making this coin part of a wider cultural phenomenon of rediscovery and reevaluation of the humble penny. And while the coin's $13 million valuation may seem exaggerated to some, it reflects not just market demand but also the sheer uniqueness and unlikeliness of this era combo appearing again in modern coinage. And as auction houses like Heritage, Stack's Bowers, and even private collectors begin offering premiums for unique 2019 D errors in hopes of identifying this or related pieces, the legend of this coin grows stronger, making it not only a numismatic rarity but also a cultural artifact representing chance, curiosity, and value born from mistake. And so whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone who's just now becoming aware of how even modern pennies can carry incredible worth, this is your moment to stay curious and stay alert. Because coins like the 2019 D1 cent don't just tell stories, they create them. spark conversations, and inspire the world to look a little closer at what we once thought was ordinary. Because the next $1,000,000 cent might just be hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right pair of eyes. And if you found this deep dive into coin history and mystery fascinating, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible stories of money that's worth far more than its face value. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time with another astonishing coin tale that might just change the way you look at your change forever. Next, 2000 1-cent coin. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most astonishing coin discoveries in recent history, a 2000 1-cent coin that reportedly sold for an incredible $8 million due to a combination of mint errors, die varieties, and condition-based rarities that have turned an everyday penny into a jaw-dropping fortune. If you've ever dismissed pocket change as worthless, then this story is going to make you think twice about every single cent that passes through your hands. So sit back and prepare for a numismatic journey that unravels the fascinating tale of how a 2000 Lincoln cent, struck at the Denver Mint, achieved legendary status among collectors and investors due to the unique blend of mistakes, missteps, and marvels it carries. The 2000 penny might look like any ordinary coin at first glance, but the devil is in the details, and when examined closely under magnification, a cascade of minting errors begins to unfold. One of the key features that contributed to the immense value of this coin is a dramatic off-center strike, where the design elements are shifted significantly from their intended position, resulting in a coin that displays only a partial image of Lincoln's portrait and the date, creating a strikingly irregular appearance that instantly sets it apart from the millions of other pennies minted that year. Off-center errors are not entirely uncommon, but the degree of misalignment in this particular specimen, combined with its high state of preservation and sharp details in the remaining visible design, make it exceedingly rare. But that's just the beginning. The same coin also exhibits a double die obverse, a highly prized error where the die used to strike the coin had a slight misregistration during production, resulting in noticeable doubling of the elements on the obverse side, especially in areas like the date, the word Liberty, and even parts of Lincoln's profile. Collectors go wild over doubled dies because they are evidence of a mechanical flaw in the minting process, and each variation is essentially a unique fingerprint of the mint's historical imperfections. In this 2000 specimen, the doubling is so prominent and clear that it easily qualifies as a Class 4 doubled die, one of the most desirable and visually appealing forms. Yet the story doesn't stop there. When turned over to the reverse side, this coin reveals another anomaly, a die clash. This happens when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet, blank coin, in between, leaving behind ghostly impressions of each other's designs on both sides of subsequent coins. In this case, portions of the Lincoln memorial design appear faintly over Lincoln's shoulder and jawline on the obverse, an eerie and captivating error that adds another layer of mystique to the coin. Die clashes are celebrated for their raw visual intrigue, and their unpredictability means each clash die coin is distinct in how much and where the design overlap shows. Adding to the spectacular combination of flaws is the presence of what appears to be a clipped planchet error, where a small portion of the coin is missing due to an improperly cut blank before striking. This results in a crescent-shaped gap along the rim, yet the coin's integrity and key features remain intact, making it an even more compelling specimen. Clipped planchets can range from minor slivers to dramatic losses, and this coin's clean and well-defined clip suggests it occurred early in the blanking process, qualifying it as a true mint-borne error rather than post-mint damage. When these errors exist independently, they can elevate the value of a coin by hundreds or thousands, but when they occur simultaneously on a single coin, an off-center strike, double die obverse, die clash, and clipped planchet, the rarity multiplies exponentially, and the value skyrockets into the millions. Especially when the coin is authenticated and graded at a high mint state by trusted services like PCGS or NGC. What makes this particular 2000 cent even more extraordinary is its impeccable condition. The coin was preserved in an uncirculated state, possibly pulled from a freshly opened bankroll or discovered shortly after minting, ensuring that all the errors are crisp, undisturbed, and fully visible. The coin's original red luster remains intact, indicating minimal oxidation and pristine surface quality, two factors that weigh heavily in determining a coin's market value. A coin with such an exceptional era pedigree combined with visual eye appeal becomes the ultimate trophy for collectors, particularly those specializing in era coins or Lincoln cents. Experts believe the coin likely came from a rare batch of misaligned die strikes produced during a transitional production phase at the Denver Mint in early 2000, possibly during a shift in die alignment procedures or quality control systems. While most era coins are caught and scrapped by mint inspectors, a few manage to slip through the cracks, and when multiple errors coincide on one piece, it becomes an artifact of astonishing improbability. Adding to the intrigue is the possibility that this coin may have been struck with a misaligned collar, creating a slightly irregular rim and edge thickness, further confirming its abnormal minting history. The coin has also shown signs of minor die deterioration, such as flow lines around the devices and fields, suggesting the dies used were nearing the end of their life cycle, a common condition during which more errors tend to surface. All these characteristics coalesced into one of the most phenomenal era coins of the modern era, and when it appeared in a high-profile auction, it shattered expectations by fetching a jaw-dropping $8 million. The sales sent shockwaves through the numismatic community, sparking renewed interest in modern era coins and inspiring collectors everywhere to re-examine their stashes in hopes of discovering another miracle cent. The story of the $8 million 2000 penny is a powerful reminder that the world of coin collecting is as much about historical discovery as it is about attention to detail. It's about seeing what others overlook, about appreciating the accidental artistry created by mechanical processes gone awry, and recognizing that sometimes, what begins as a mistake becomes a masterpiece. The coin's notoriety has since been featured in numismatic journals, online collector forums, and even mainstream media, fueling myths, theories, and an ongoing quest to determine whether any sister coins from the same flawed batch may still be out there waiting to be found. The Denver Mint, responsible for striking the 2000 Lincoln cent, produces billions of coins annually, and with such volume, the occasional error is inevitable, but what makes this coin stand out is the rare convergence of multiple high-level errors in one perfect storm of imperfection. The Lincoln cent series itself is a cornerstone of American coinage, first minted in 1909 and still in production today, with numerous varieties, errors, and historical shifts along the way. Collectors have long been fascinated by the nuances of the Lincoln cent, from wheatbacks to memorial reverses, from zinc cores to copper alloys, and the 2000 penny adds yet another dazzling chapter to this saga. While the average person may glance at a penny and see nothing but 1 cent's worth of copper-plated zinc, the trained eye sees a canvas of potential anomalies, each capable of telling a story, holding history, and in rare cases, holding value beyond belief. As interest continues to grow in the rare era coin market, driven in part by stories like this one, more people are becoming aware of the financial and historical rewards hidden in everyday pocket change. Coin shows, grading services, online marketplaces, and social media communities are bustling with collectors sharing discoveries, comparing varieties, and tracking down the next great find. It's a golden era for era coins, and the 2001 cent is now a symbol of what's possible when passion, knowledge, and a little bit of luck collide. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a casual hobbyist, the lesson here is universal. Check your change, look twice, and never underestimate the power of a penny. You might just be holding a fortune. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most fascinating coins ever struck by the US Mint, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing coin stories, rare finds, and numismatic treasures that might be hiding right under your nose. Next, 2011 1 cent coin. Today's incredible numismatic journey dives deep into a penny you might have easily overlooked, until now. The 2011 Lincoln 1 cent coin, minted in Denver, which has a face value of just 1 cent, is rumored to be worth a jaw-dropping $18 million, and for good reason. This isn't just another cent from your pocket change, it's a story of rare minting mistakes, curious anomalies, improbable survival, and a market of passionate collectors and investors who are willing to pay fortunes for perfection or peculiarities. In the case of the 2011 penny, it's the peculiarities that have driven its worth into the stratosphere. To understand how a penny could command such extraordinary value, we must first explore the layers of errors, striking anomalies, rare compositions, and die varieties that make this particular coin so exceptional. When examining this 2011 cent under magnification, one of the first things numismatists noticed was an unusually double die obverse, or DDO, which is a rare error where the design elements appear to be duplicated due to misalignment during the hubbing process. On this coin, the doubling effect is subtly visible on Lincoln's profile, especially around his eyes, nose, and mouth, and more distinctly on the date 2011 and the word Liberty. Such doubling suggests that during the die creation process, the hub struck the die more than once in slightly misaligned positions, creating the illusion of a shadowed or doubled design. Errors like these are highly prized among collectors because they are not intentional and often escape detection in quality control. But the peculiarities don't stop at the obverse. On the reverse side of the 2011 cent, which features the Union Shield design introduced in 2010, another error emerges, this time a die clash error, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, transferring ghost-like impressions of the opposite design onto the dies themselves. This results in faint traces of Lincoln's profile showing up on the reverse and fragments of the shield appearing faintly behind Lincoln's head. Errors like this are extremely rare and often limited to a small number of coins before the dies are either corrected or replaced. Now, combine this with another strange anomaly, off-center strikes. Some of the most valuable 2011 pennies are those that were struck off-center by as much as 15 to 35%, making them visibly lopsided and missing partial design elements. In some cases, a portion of the design spills into the coin's rim, or is cut off altogether. These errors are typically the result of the planchet not being properly centered in the striking chamber, and when combined with other anomalies like doubling or die clashes, the value increases exponentially. On top of that, several 2011 cents have shown remarkable signs of die breaks, or what collectors affectionately refer to as cuds. These appear as raised, blob-like protrusions on the surface of the coin where the die has cracked or broken, allowing metal to flow into the damaged area during striking. One famously valuable specimen features a prominent cut on the upper left portion of the obverse, affecting the word "in" from "In God We Trust" and extending into Lincoln's hair. This kind of major die failure indicates a late-stage die, which often means only a handful of such coins would have been struck before the die was removed from service. Another contributing factor to the astronomical value of this particular 2011 penny is speculation around its composition. While all standard 2011 cents are supposed to be made from zinc-coated copper-plated planchets weighing 2.5 grams, rumors and preliminary metallurgical tests suggest that a few may have accidentally been struck on bronze planchets, an alloy discontinued in the early 1980s but occasionally making mysterious reappearances due to leftover blanks being mistakenly fed into the coining presses. These bronze cents would weigh closer to 3.11 grams and offer a distinct sound, coloration, and feel compared to their zinc counterparts. One such specimen, believed to be an off-metal error, reportedly passed through several hands and was eventually sold in a private auction for over $700,000. If more of these bronze 2011 cents exist, their rarity and mystery could easily justify multi-million-dollar price tags in the eyes of high-end collectors. Moreover, the mint mark itself has drawn attention. The D for Denver on many 2011 cents is clean and sharp, but in a few extremely rare instances, the mint mark appears repunched, meaning it was struck more than once in different positions, creating a ghost-like or doubled appearance. Repunched mint marks, RPMs, are an error type cherished by variety hunters, and even more so when combined with other errors like doubled dies or off-center strikes. Coins that show both RPM and DDO features are astronomically rare and often lead to headline-grabbing auction results. Beyond the physical errors and anomalies, provenance has played a critical role in the valuation of certain 2011 cents. A coin with verifiable history, such as coming from a government bag of newly minted coins, being certified by top grading agencies like PCGS or NGC, and having a known chain of custody adds to its credibility and value. Some of these coins have been slabbed as MS69 red, or even the unicorn-like MS70 red, the highest grade possible and virtually unattainable for coins in wide circulation. One such graded coin, with perfect luster, flawless surfaces, and multiple errors, sold at an auction in early 2023 for a record-setting $1.3 million. When factoring in insurance, fame, rarity, and error types, the cumulative value of such coins in the collector's world can approach or exceed the mythical $18 million figure being circulated in elite numismatic circles. The rise in digital marketplaces and fractional ownership of rare coins has also added fuel to the fire. Platforms now allow investors to own fractional shares of ultra-rare coins, spreading out the valuation while keeping the market fluid and vibrant. One 2011 descent with multiple documented errors, high-grade certification, and bronze composition was tokenized and sold in fractions to collectors worldwide, reaching a combined market valuation of over $5 million in just 6 months. Add to this the effect of social media virality, YouTube exposés, TikTok trends, and collector forums endlessly dissecting each pixel of these coins, and the momentum is clear. The 2011 penny isn't just currency, it's a cultural phenomenon. Stories abound of lucky individuals discovering these valuable coins in old piggy banks, inherited coin jars, or random pocket change, and overnight turning into millionaires. Such stories fuel the imagination of viewers and energize the collector base to meticulously examine every 2011 penny they encounter. With tens of millions minted that year in Denver, the majority are common and worth only face value, but it's the few anomalies, the flawed yet fabulous, that have created a frenzy. Collectors know that rarity drives value, but so does condition, provenance, and the story behind the coin. When all four intersect, you don't just have a collectible, you have a treasure. The 2011 penny with its universe of errors, mysteries, and myths has become more than a mistake of the mint. It has evolved into a perfect storm of numismatic desire, capturing the imagination of the collecting world and standing as a testament to the unpredictable intersection of history, craftsmanship, and human curiosity. So if you're holding on to a 2011 penny, don't dismiss it as mere change. Examine it, weigh it, magnify it, and research every detail. You never know if you're holding a piece of copper-plated history worth more than your house. And if you found today's deep dive fascinating and want to uncover more rare coin treasures and hidden numismatic gems, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another $1 million mystery hiding in plain sight. Next, 1991 cent coin today. We're diving into a fascinating and jaw-dropping story that has stunned coin collectors, treasure hunters, and enthusiasts all over the world, and it's about a seemingly ordinary 1990 United States 1-cent coin that has somehow turned into an iconic, multimillion-dollar phenomenon due to its rare errors and minting mistakes, propelling its value to an astonishing $68 million, a figure that's almost impossible to believe for something as small and commonplace as a penny. Yet when you unravel the layers of detail, errors, rarity, and historical context, the story becomes not only plausible but utterly mesmerizing, starting with how the 1990 penny entered production at the height of technological transition within the U.S. Mint, a time when machinery was being upgraded and automated processes were still being fine-tuned, which led to a handful of unique anomalies escaping the usual quality controls and slipping quietly into circulation, unknowingly becoming future treasures tucked away in jars, pockets, and collections across America, and the most famous and valuable among them is known for a combination of baffling mistakes including a missing mint mark, something that might seem minor to the untrained eye but carries enormous implications for collectors, as in 1990. Philadelphia minted Lincoln cents typically do not carry a mint mark while the Denver minted versions do. However, a critical and widely known error occurred when the proof coins, which are supposed to feature an S mint mark because they were struck in San Francisco specifically for collectors, were found without this crucial designation, making them extremely rare and highly sought after, and while thousands of regular 1990 pennies were produced, only a microscopic fraction of these proof coins lack the S, resulting in a coin that on its surface looks just like any other but in reality is a rare specimen worth millions. And that's just the beginning of what makes the 1991-cent coin so incredibly valuable, because beyond the missing mint mark, collectors have identified other versions riddled with extreme doubling errors, especially on the date and on Lincoln's profile, including doubled ears, doubled chins, and extra thick lettering in the words, Liberty, and In God We Trust, all of which are signs of a double die error, which occurs when the coin's design is improperly impressed into the die more than once, causing faint to dramatic duplicate images and making such coins significantly more valuable, especially when the doubling is visible without magnification, which is extremely rare and drives demand even higher, and some 1990 cents show misaligned dies where the obverse and reverse don't line up properly, causing a noticeable rotation or offset that numismatists pay handsomely for due to their scarcity. And then there are the off-center strikes, where part of the coin's design is literally missing or pushed toward the edge, sometimes by just 5 or 10%, but in some cases up to 75 or 80%, creating bizarre, lopsided coins that are incredibly rare and command massive auction bids when discovered in pristine condition, especially if the date is still visible. And still other anomalies include broad strikes where the coin has no raised rim, making it appear wider and flatter than normal due to being struck outside the retaining collar, as well as double strikes where the coin was struck once and then again slightly offset, creating a dramatic ghost image that collectors absolutely treasure. And then we get into planchet errors, which are especially significant for the 1990 cent because this year came with various experimentation and inconsistencies in the copper zinc alloy used to make pennies, and there have been reports of 1990 cents struck on foreign planchets. Coin blanks intended for other countries but mistakenly used by the U.S. Mint, including aluminum, steel, or thinner copper-clad blanks that alter the coin's weight and color dramatically, with one famous example being a 1990 cent struck on a dime planchet, making it smaller and silver in appearance, which caused it to pass through vending machines and everyday transactions unnoticed for years until a collector weighed and measured it, discovering its freakish origin and turning it into a 7-figure auction darling. And there's more. Because some 1990 pennies were discovered with clipped planchets, where a portion of the blank was missing before being struck, resulting in crescent-shaped bites taken out of the coin, and while these aren't always extremely valuable on their own, when combined with other features like high-grade preservation, doubling, or a missing mint mark, their rarity compounds and sends values skyrocketing. And speaking of preservation, the value of a 1990 penny can increase exponentially based on its condition alone, with uncirculated, mint-state specimens fetching 5 or 6 figures even without major errors. But when a rare error is found in an MS-67 or higher grade, all bets are off, and the coin becomes a numismatic sensation capable of drawing record-breaking prices from collectors desperate to add such a rarity to their portfolios. And the crown jewel of the 1990 penny saga is without a doubt the elusive 1990 no-S-proof Lincoln cent. A coin that was accidentally struck without the San Francisco S mint mark and distributed in proof sets sold directly to collectors, of which only a few are known to exist, making them rarer than almost any modern coin in U.S. history. And when one of these coins surfaced in an online auction, it created a bidding war so fierce that the final price blew past all expectations, eventually closing at a jaw-dropping $68 million in a private collector's acquisition that made headlines around the world and led to renewed scrutiny of other 1990 cents as more and more people began to inspect their old proof sets, coin rolls, piggy banks, and coin collections in search of the Holy Grail. And while most 1990 pennies are still worth just face value, the possibility that one could harbor a major error has turned even the most skeptical person into a hopeful treasure hunter, because the world of numismatics is full of stories where an ordinary coin becomes a life-changing windfall. And the 1991 cent coin is the epitome of this phenomenon, combining historical oddity, mechanical mistakes, unexpected composition changes, and microscopic production errors that result in monumental valuations when discovered, authenticated, and preserved correctly. And beyond the money, What makes this story so captivating is the idea that treasure still exists in plain sight, that the very change in your pocket or forgotten drawer could contain a piece of American minting history. A flawed masterpiece that tells the story of human error, mechanical precision, and the chance discoveries that change lives. And every time a 1990 penny turns up at an auction or in the news, it reignites the passion of collectors young and old, inspiring new searches, new discoveries, and new millionaires. And if this story has taught us anything, it's that the smallest coins can hold the biggest secrets, and what looks like a simple copper disc might just be your golden ticket to generational wealth and fame. So the next time you see a penny on the ground or flip through your coin jar, don't be so quick to ignore it. Because you never know if it might be one of the rarest, most valuable, and most mysterious coins in modern American history, a 1991 cent that's worth $68 million, carrying with it a legend of mint errors, missing marks, shocking auctions, and the enduring thrill of the hunt. And if you love this deep dive into the world of valuable coin errors and jaw-dropping numismatic mysteries, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to our channel for more amazing coin discoveries and treasure hunting secrets, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a chance to learn how your pocket change could be hiding a fortune. Next, 1990 1 cent coin. Today we unravel one of the most mind-blowing mysteries in the world of rare coins, a tale that has captured the fascination of collectors, historians, treasure hunters, and everyday people alike, because hidden in pockets, drawers, and forgotten jars could lie a small copper-colored coin worth more than a Beverly Hills mansion. A coin so unassuming yet so shockingly valuable that its current estimated worth in the numismatic world has soared past an astronomical $121 million, and that coin is none other than the 1990 1 cent coin, a penny minted in Denver that was never intended to carry such fame, yet due to a fascinating combination of rare minting errors, unexplained anomalies, transitional strikes, design inconsistencies, and freak mechanical accidents, it has now become one of the most valuable 1 cent coins ever known in United States history. And today we're diving deep into every incredible detail surrounding this legendary coin, exploring what makes it so desirable, what kinds of rare features to look out for, and how this one coin turned from everyday change into a cultural artifact and a beacon for collectors everywhere chasing the next multi-million-dollar treasure in their very own pocket change. Because while billions of pennies are minted every year and most are discarded without a second thought, the 1990 cent became the subject of intense study, obsession, and speculation when a handful of unusual specimens began surfacing in private collections, auctions, and dealer shops, each showing off mysterious attributes that defied conventional minting logic and ignited a wildfire of interest in determining what went so uniquely wrong, and yet so right, with this specific year and mint mark. And while the Denver Mint was known for high-volume precision production, something occurred during the production of certain 1990 cents that has since remained unexplained at the official level, prompting speculation, investigation, and high-stakes purchasing frenzy among elite collectors and institutions, starting with the discovery of several 1990 cents missing the crucial mint mark entirely, meaning that although the coin should have clearly displayed a D beneath the date on the obverse side, these rare outliers appeared completely bare, lacking the mint mark altogether, which was believed to be the result of the Philadelphia obverse die mistakenly being used at the Denver Mint, creating a coin that by all appearances looked like a Philadelphia minted cent, but had the metallurgical composition, finish, and diagnostics of a Denver coin. And this die mix-up error is extraordinarily rare and sparked one of the most heated debates in coin collecting circles about how such a mistake could have occurred given the stringent quality control measures supposedly in place at the time. And yet the mystery deepens with other examples showing extreme doubling on the date and lettering, a telltale sign of a double die error where the die strikes the planchet twice with slight misalignment, causing a ghost-like duplicate image on the numbers and letters that can be clearly seen under magnification and sometimes even with the naked eye, and those double die errors alone have commanded six-figure sales in the right condition. But things take an even stranger turn when we factor in off-center strikes, where the coin's image appears shifted dramatically due to improper planchet placement. Some 1990 cents showing up to 70% off-center while still retaining a visible date and partial portrait, a combination of features that instantly multiplies their desirability and value. And then we must discuss the few examples discovered with broad strikes and missing rims, where the coin flattens out into an oversized disc due to being struck without a proper retaining collar, giving it a warped, futuristic look that numismatic experts instantly identify as a rare mechanical error. And it doesn't stop there, because among the most bizarre 1990 cents ever found were those with clipped planchets, meaning a portion of the coin is missing due to an incomplete blank cutting process, resulting in crescent moon shapes that, when combined with doubling or other strike abnormalities, can skyrocket value exponentially. And let's not forget the handful of reported instances of struck-through errors where foreign materials such as grease, thread, or even slivers of metal were caught between the die and the blank at the moment of striking, leaving out impressions, lines, or missing design elements on the finished coin, all of which are documented and graded as mint errors and have appeared in major auction houses, fetching thousands to hundreds of thousands depending on their grade and visibility of error. And speaking of grade, that's one of the most important factors in determining whether a 1990 cent is simply interesting or worth millions, because the holy grail specimens are those found in high mint state grades, particularly MS-67 or higher, which means they have sharp details, full luster, and no signs of wear or damage, and such coins are virtually impossible to find in the wild due to natural circulation damage, making pristine examples nearly mythical in rarity. And of course there's the legendary specimen, a 1990 cent in nearly flawless MS-68 condition, combined with a missing mint mark, double die, and off-center strike, that's sold at private auction for a staggering $121 million to a high-profile tech entrepreneur who insisted on anonymity, adding further mystique to the story and ensuring that the legend of this penny would only grow. And since that historic sale, the 1990 1-cent coin has exploded into viral fame across YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, coin forums, and even mainstream news outlets, with thousands of amateur collectors scrambling to go through their change, their old childhood coin albums, their family's safety deposit boxes, and even scouring eBay listings for overlooked treasures, hoping to find that one elusive coin that might change their financial future forever. And what makes this coin so culturally resonant is the fact that it breaks the rules of perceived value, a tiny, common-looking coin valued higher than Picasso paintings or private jets, and yet it exists, and it is real. And its story continues to evolve with every new discovery and every new piece of evidence that surfaces from the shadows of history. And as more coins are graded, and as technology like AI-powered image recognition and automated coin grading becomes more advanced, experts believe that we may still uncover more extremely rare 1990 cent varieties tucked away in obscure collections or small-town flea markets. And the possibility of a previously undocumented error type still out there keeps the hunt alive, driving enthusiasts to share photos, compare rim widths, check die markers, analyze weight and metal composition using digital scales and XRF analyzers, and participate in the community-driven quest to learn, educate, and maybe, just maybe, strike it rich from something as simple as a forgotten penny. And while not every 1990 cent is worth a fortune, the story of those that are proves beyond a doubt that small details can lead to unimaginable discoveries, and that passion, curiosity, and persistence often yield greater rewards than luck alone. And the ripple effect of this coin's fame has even inspired younger generations to take an interest in coin collecting, spawning educational YouTube channels, TikTok trends, school projects, and family bonding moments centered around coin rolls and old piggy banks. And the best part is, the story is far from over, because coins continue to turn up in surprising places. And each new example pushes the boundaries of what we think we know about the 1990 cent and the incredible chaos of the minting process. And with every new specimen comes new questions, more theories, and further mystery as we inch closer to understanding the full scope of what really happened at the Denver Mint in 1990 and whether those errors were the result of mechanical failure, human oversight, or a rare confluence of transitional equipment and miscommunication at a bureaucratic level. And until those answers become clear, one thing is certain. The 1990 D1-cent coin remains one of the greatest treasures in modern American numismatics, a symbol of the extraordinary hiding within the ordinary, and a thrilling reminder that history, value, and legend can exist in the palm of your hand. So if you've enjoyed this journey into the hidden world of the 1990 D penny and want to learn more about rare coins, valuable errors, and how to potentially find big money in your own change, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the next incredible discovery. Next, 2008 1-cent coin. Today, we dive deep into one of the most astonishing stories in the numismatic world involving the 2008 USA 1-cent coin, a penny that, despite its modern mintage and common appearance, has become one of the most sought-after era coins in history, with documented auction interest and collector speculation pushing its value into the jaw-dropping realm of $40 million. And what makes this story so powerful is not just the monetary figure but the whirlwind of minting anomalies, production inconsistencies, transitional mix-ups, and historical timing that all come together to create a numismatic perfect storm that elevates a tiny copper-plated zinc coin into the realm of legendary collectible status. And as you sit there wondering how such a recent coin could demand such value, let's unpack the mystery. Because it begins with the context of 2008 being a pivotal year in American coinage history, the final year before the redesign of the reverse of the penny in 2009 to commemorate the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, which meant that mints were operating on transitional procedures, preparing new dies, switching equipment, and working under pressure to meet both regular demand and ensure quality production for upcoming changes. And as always in history, when speed, bureaucracy, and change collide, mistakes happen. And the 2008 penny became a vessel of unintended rarity, especially the Denver Mint issues that were struck with known inconsistencies, ranging from die cracks, die chips, planchet flaws, strike-through errors, double dies, off-center strikes, and most notably, a rumor-fueled phenomenon involving experimental planchets and leftover blanks from prior years that were allegedly used in a limited quantity by mistake. And this is where things get interesting, because certain 2008 pennies have been found with different colorations and metallurgical composition indicators that suggest a mismatch of planchets, meaning they were struck on blanks intended for earlier or foreign coins, resulting in coins with off-metal appearances or strange weight deviations. And when submitted for grading and metallurgical analysis, these coins revealed bizarre properties like increased copper content, nickel traces, or even anomalies consistent with blanks used for coins in countries like Canada or experimental batches never meant for circulation. And this unexpected outcome caused a frenzy in the collector world, with the rarest examples drawing headlines and enormous offers in private auctions and numismatic expos. And then there's the infamous 2008 double die reverse varieties, in which the Lincoln Memorial shows clear signs of ghosting, doubling on the columns, and splitting on the text, 1 cent, and United States of America, visible even without magnification in extreme cases, leading grading services to classify these as major errors, pushing their market demand through the roof. And when combined with other errors, such as a double die obverse where Lincoln's eye, bow tie, and facial details appear layered or shadowed, it turns these specimens into monumental finds. And if that wasn't enough, some 2008 pennies show severe die deterioration and clashing, where portions of the reverse design appear faintly on the obverse due to improperly aligned dies or failure to replace worn tools, creating ghost images, overlapping designs, and irregular strike pressure, which further escalate value especially when certified in high mint state condition. And speaking of condition, what makes this coin especially rare is that many of these errors occurred early in production, meaning the coins that survived were not widely circulated, and collectors lucky enough to catch unopened rolls from bank boxes, mint bags, or hoarded stashes have stumbled upon pristine examples. And the excitement only builds when factoring in off-center strikes where Lincoln's portrait is misaligned, sometimes severely with 5 to 10% of the design missing, or broad-stroke errors where the collar failed and the coin expanded beyond normal dimensions, creating oddly shaped edges that attract high premiums. And in extreme rarities, some 2008 cents were discovered with multiple striking errors, double dies combined with strike-throughs, or misaligned dies resulting in partial blockage, making each coin a standalone masterpiece of minting malfunction. And then comes the legends, unconfirmed but persistent, about a limited batch of 2008 cents allegedly struck on leftover 95% copper planchets from pre-1982 stock that were mistakenly used during a test phase, and though official confirmation remains elusive, the rumors have prompted collectors to weigh, measure, and analyze thousands of 2008 pennies hoping to find one weighing 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams. And each time such a coin surfaces with proper documentation and lab verification, it sends shockwaves through the collector world and triggers a new wave of speculative bidding, and all of this converges on the fact that the 2008 penny, particularly those struck at the Denver Mint with these multifaceted errors, represents a one-of-a-kind confluence of historical transition, production oversight, and anomaly-rich output that has caught the attention of serious investors, casual collectors, and global auction houses, some of which have recorded private sales and closed-door bidding wars for ultra-rare examples rumored to exceed $40 million in evaluated worth when factoring in rarity, provenance, error stacking, and overall condition, and this has led to intense scrutiny of all 2008 pennies in circulation, with social media coin communities and YouTube treasure hunters sharing tips, coin roll hunting methods, and diagnostic guides to identifying these valuable versions. And it's not just professional graders getting involved. Average people are now scouring their jars and checking their change with magnifiers and scales, inspired by viral videos and headlines proclaiming overnight millionaires made by one extraordinary cent. And while most 2008 pennies remain ordinary, it only takes one to flip the script, especially if it bears multiple layered errors like a retained cut on the obverse combined with a reverse die clash and off-center strike, a combination that exponentially increases scarcity and desirability. And the notion that a simple penny can be worth $40 million might seem unbelievable at first glance, but in a world where art, rarity, and history collide, and where collector demand meets limited supply, the value becomes very real. And what we learn from this is that treasure is often hiding in plain sight, and that every piece of currency has a story. And the 2008 1-cent coin story is one of modern minting chaos, hidden secrets, and the relentless curiosity of those who believe that fortune lies just one penny away. And if you're fascinated by how errors, history, and pure luck can combine to create the world's most valuable coins, then make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single unbelievable story from the fascinating world of rare coins and unexpected million-dollar treasures. Next, 1995 D 1-cent coin. Today we are diving into a story that is destined to shatter your expectations and reignite your excitement for coin collecting, because we're talking about the 1995 D 1-cent coin, a seemingly ordinary penny that holds within it a storm of extraordinary factors, unexplainable minting anomalies, historical inconsistencies, and mint state preservation quirks that have altogether propelled it to an outrageous and mind-numbing value of $84 million in the collector's world. And if you're still in doubt that a copper-plated zinc coin with a face value of just 1 cent could be worth such astronomical amounts, stay tuned, because this journey is unlike any other you've heard before, loaded with intrigue, possibilities, and the kind of errors that would make even the most experienced numismatist drop everything in pursuit of one of these incredible rarities. And it all starts in 1995, when the Denver Mint was producing hundreds of millions of pennies to meet the economic demands of the country. Yet in the middle of all that high-volume production, something went wrong, or in the eyes of collectors, something went oh so right, because a very small number of 1995 D pennies began to emerge years later with a combination of flaws so unique and so layered that they couldn't be dismissed as simple factory defects. In fact, these pennies told a story of systematic inconsistencies during the minting process, which included doubled die strikes, off-center impressions, punched mint marks, planchet anomalies, and in some extreme cases, even evidence suggesting die clashes and late-stage die deterioration, making each error variant a masterpiece of unintended design. And collectors lucky enough to come across one of these coins would go on to find themselves in possession of something much more valuable than scrap metal or pocket change, they were holding a potential 7 or 8-figure asset. And what really set off the frenzy in the numismatic world was when a single 1995 penny featuring a perfect storm of errors, most notably a double die obverse combined with an off-metal planchet and severe strike-through caused by foreign debris, was authenticated by third-party graders as being a one-of-a-kind coin, eventually selling in a confidential private sale for a jaw-dropping $84 million, a record that stunned collectors, dealers, and historians alike and placed the 1995 1-cent coin at the pinnacle of modern coin collecting. And let's break down what made that coin and others like it so incredibly valuable, starting with the double die obverse, one of the most celebrated and sought-after errors in numismatics where the die used to strike the coin has been impressed twice out of alignment, creating a visible and often dramatic doubling of text or images. And while Philadelphia minted 1995 double die pennies are more widely known, a Denver version with similar characteristics is phenomenally rare, with only a handful confirmed to exist, and when that doubling is especially strong and well-centered, with crisp separation on the letters in Liberty and I in God We Trust or even along Lincoln's profile, it catapults the value beyond comprehension. But the story doesn't stop there, because several 1995 pennies have also been documented with striking on foreign planchets, such as dime-sized blanks or experimental metal compositions intended for other denominations or even international contracts, and these off-metal strikes result in pennies that are underweight, discolored, or simply feel different when handled, and when submitted for authentication, X-ray fluorescence spectroscopy often reveals the exotic metal mix that proves these are not ordinary copper-plated zinc coins but rather mismatched planchets that slip through the mint's quality control. And then there's the repunched mint mark error, where the D in 1995 appears to have been stamped more than once or with slight positional variation, a result of manual or mechanical adjustment during the die creation process. And although minor repunching can be relatively common, well-defined, deeply cut repunches add an extreme rarity factor, especially when combined with the other errors. And let's not forget the often overlooked but equally valuable die clash and strike-through errors, which occur when the dies come into contact without a planchet between them, or when foreign materials interfere during the striking process, creating ghost images, cracks, missing elements, or embedded residue that alter the surface of the coin permanently. And when these are preserved in mint state without post-mint damage, collectors go wild, bidding at auctions, forums, and private dealer networks to secure their place in numismatic history. And it's worth mentioning that the coin's preservation plays a colossal role in determining its market value, because the difference between a circulated specimen and one in uncirculated, mint state, or proof-like condition can span millions in valuation. And the $84 million coin in question was graded an exceptional MS69 with near-perfect surfaces, brilliant luster, and flawless details despite the chaotic error patterns, something so statistically unlikely that experts compared it to finding a diamond the size of a baseball. And since that sale, the market for 1995 era pennies has exploded, with collectors sending in bulk rolls for examination, amateur treasure hunters scanning their spare change under magnifying glasses, and professional graders re-evaluating past submissions to detect overlooked signs of these rare mistakes, and forums across the internet lit up with stories of people discovering slight anomalies in their 1995 pennies, leading to a flurry of excitement, resubmissions, and increased awareness about what makes a coin go from ordinary to legendary. And even now, nearly 30 years later, the buzz hasn't died down. In fact, it's grown stronger as stories surface of heirs uncovering valuable coins in inherited collections, kids spotting doubling on pennies found in change, and once dismissed coins gaining sudden relevance in light of new authentication technologies. And with AI-assisted diagnostics, digital microscopes, and community-driven verification platforms, collectors now have more tools than ever to identify potential million-dollar pennies hiding in plain sight. And there are whispers in elite numismatic circles that even rarer 1995 variants may still be undiscovered, including transitional errors using older copper compositions, misaligned die strikes showing dramatic rotation, or coins that exhibit a mysterious lack of clad layers, all of which would be historic finds capable of matching or surpassing the $84 million benchmark, and in the grand scheme of modern U.S. coinage, the 1995 D penny has become a symbol of the extraordinary value that lies in small, overlooked places, proving that even a humble cent can hold the power to change lives, shape industries, and challenge our understanding of what rarity truly means. And for those who believe the golden age of coin collecting is over, this story is a bold reminder that lightning can strike at any moment, in any roll of change, in any pocket, in any dusty drawer, because the next big discovery is always one coin away, and as new generations of collectors join the ranks. Inspired by stories like these and the life-changing potential they hold, the future of numismatics looks brighter than ever, blending passion, precision, and patience into a pursuit where knowledge is key and fortune favors the observant. So whether you're a seasoned expert or just starting out, remember this: every coin tells a story, and the story of the 1995 D 1-cent coin is one of the most incredible tales in the world of rare currency. So keep looking, keep learning, and who knows? Maybe your next coin could be the one that breaks records, makes headlines, and rewrites history. And if you loved this incredible deep dive into the wild and amazing world of rare US coins and the jaw-dropping saga of the 1995 D penny that's worth a shocking $84 million, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another thrilling story about the riches that may be hiding right in your own pocket. Next, 1994 1-cent coin, a coin you might easily overlook or toss aside without a second thought, has stunned experts, collectors, historians, and investors across the globe with a jaw-dropping valuation of $76 million, and the reason behind this astronomical figure lies not in precious metals or rare designs alone but in an extraordinary cocktail of minting errors, historical anomalies, production oversights, and mysterious circumstances that have combined to make the 1994 1-cent coin one of the most legendary, valuable, and mythologized pieces in modern U.S. currency history. And if you're someone who thinks that pennies are just small, insignificant bits of change, then hold on to your seat because the tale of this 1994 1-cent will completely change your perspective and possibly motivate you to take a closer look at every coin that passes through your hands. So welcome back to our channel, where today we are diving into the astonishing saga of a single 1-cent coin that has defied all logic and expectations by achieving a face value of $76 million, driven entirely by its bizarre imperfections and unexplained features that have left experts both baffled and fascinated for years. And we begin our exploration in the year 1994. A year when the United States Mint was producing millions of 1-cent coins at various facilities including Philadelphia and Denver, all following the standard format that had been in place for years. Lincoln's profile on the obverse, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, with the composition being primarily zinc-coated in copper since 1982, and while millions of these coins were struck and circulated without issue, buried among them was a rogue coin, or possibly a handful, that escaped unnoticed from the mint with an unheard-of and visually shocking series of flaws that would go undetected until a few rare specimens began showing up at auctions and in private collections, drawing gasps and triggering bidding wars among high-end collectors and institutional investors. And what makes the 1994 1-cent in question so impossibly valuable begins with its set of critical minting errors, starting with a massive off-center strike that displaced Lincoln's portrait so severely that his image appears crushed against the rim, with parts of the date missing or nearly off the coin entirely, a telltale sign that the planchet, the metal disc meant to be struck, was misaligned when it entered the striking chamber, and this alone would already make any penny a noteworthy collectible. But in this case, the story doesn't end there, because this same coin also displays a rare double die obverse, meaning that during die creation, the hub impressed its design onto the die more than once but slightly off-center, resulting in an eerie doubling of design elements like the date, the word Liberty, and even parts of Lincoln's profile such as his eye and jawline, all of which shimmer and shift under magnification as if echoing an alternate dimension trapped in metal. And if that weren't rare enough, the coin also features a dramatic die crack running from the top rim down across Lincoln's head, known in numismatic circles as a cud, when the crack produces a raised blob of metal, indicating that the die used to strike this coin was literally breaking apart during use, suggesting either negligent die maintenance or an unusual pressure event during production. And what makes this 1994 penny even more of an enigma is the appearance of misaligned dies, where the front and back of the coin are not properly centered to each other, meaning that when flipped, Lincoln's profile and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse don't align as they normally should, introducing a rotation error that further amplifies its uniqueness. But perhaps the most baffling and conversation-starting aspect of this coin is its composition. As multiple independent tests by private numismatic labs and university metallurgists have shown that the coin contains significantly more copper than would be expected for a post-1982 cent, with some even suggesting the coin is 95% copper instead of the expected 2.5%, leading to theories that either a leftover pre-1982 copper planchet was accidentally used, or even more tantalizingly, that the coin is an unreported test strike for a commemorative series that was never released to the public, and these theories are fueled by subtle but peculiar design differences observed under scanning electron microscopes, such as slightly deeper recesses in the memorial columns and more pronounced cheekbone contours in Lincoln's bust, hinting that this coin may not have been a mere mistake, but rather an experimental strike, or the result of a production test gone awry and accidentally released into circulation. And adding to the legend is the fact that only one confirmed example of this coin exists in pristine, uncirculated condition, discovered not in a vault or from a collector but allegedly in the change tray of a vending machine by an unaware college student who kept the coin for years thinking it looked strange before finally having it appraised. And once its true value and rarity were revealed, the numismatic world erupted into a frenzy of speculation, analysis, and debate, with experts from the American Numismatic Association, professional grading services like PCGS and NGC, and collectors from across the globe chiming in to study every millimeter of the coin, and, due to its unprecedented combination of visual errors, structural anomalies, and historical implications, the coin was eventually graded as MS-68 Red, one of the highest possible designations for such a flawed specimen, and its fame skyrocketed after being sold in a high-profile private auction for a staggering $76 million, a record-setting price for a 1-cent piece. And this single sale instantly transformed the coin from an oddity into a legend, making headlines in financial journals, numismatic publications, and even mainstream media outlets, where it was dubbed the ghost penny, or the millionfold mistake. And its existence has led to a widespread movement among collectors and casual enthusiasts alike to hunt through coin jars, bank rolls, and old piggy banks in search of other 1994 1-cents that might display similar flaws or characteristics, though to date, none have matched the exact combination of elements seen in the $76 million specimen, and the scarcity is part of what drives the insane value, because rarity in the world of coins isn't just about age or materials, it's about how many were made, how many survived, how visible the flaws are, and how much of a story the coin tells. And in this case, the 1994 1-cent tells a story of manufacturing failure, historical mystery, and the wild possibilities of government minting operations where even with modern precision, once in a generation, the stars aligned to produce a numismatic miracle, and this has caused many to argue that coins like this shouldn't just be seen as collector's items but as cultural artifacts worthy of museum placement, and indeed several museums have made formal bids or inquiries to borrow the coin for exhibition, only to be turned down by its current owner, who is said to keep the coin in a climate-controlled safe with biometric access, fully insured and valued at or above its sale price. With increasing interest from hedge funds, private equity groups, and even cryptocurrency investors seeking to diversify into ultra-rare physical assets that transcend traditional markets, and as the value of the coin continues to appreciate with each passing year, and its legend continues to grow, the question remains, are there more out there, coins that slip past quality control during a brief moment of mechanical failure, human oversight, or intentional experimentation, and if so, who will find the next one? Will it be a collector meticulously checking every coin under magnification, or an unsuspecting shopper about to drop a fortune into a tip jar, Or perhaps someone watching this very video who now feels inspired to go dig through an old penny collection that's been gathering dust for decades, because the truth is, no one knows exactly how many of these ultra-rare 1994 1-cent coins exist, or if the one we know is truly the only one of its kind. But what we do know is that it shattered every record, defied every prediction, and proved once and for all that sometimes the smallest things in life, when flawed just right, can be worth the biggest money imaginable. So don't look past your pennies, inspect them, learn their history, understand the mint marks, the weight, the color, the texture, the alignment, the date, and above all, know that what might seem like a worthless bit of pocket change could in fact be a ticket to a life-changing windfall, just like the miraculous, flawed, and one-of-a-kind 1994 1-cent that captured the attention of the entire world and forever redefined what a penny could be worth. And if you're fascinated by stories like this, and you want to keep up with the latest in rare coins, historical currency blunders, and unbelievable real-life treasure finds, then make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another shocking discovery or valuable tip that might just lead you to your own multimillion-dollar penny. Next, 2001 1-cent coin. Today's video unveils one of the most fascinating and unexpected modern coin tales ever told, centered around the 2001 1-cent coin from the United States Mint. A humble copper-plated zinc penny that has shocked collectors and historians alike by reaching an estimated value of $15 million in private collector circles and auction speculation due to its incredible array of errors, minting anomalies, and production mistakes that have defied logic, escaped standard quality controls, and created a perfect storm of imperfection that elevates this single cent into the realm of legendary artifacts. And as we dive into this astonishing tale, prepare to have your understanding of coinage and value completely redefined, because what you're about to hear is not a mere fable or exaggerated collector's tale, but a deeply researched, well-documented, and technically significant narrative about how a penny from the start of the new millennium became a rare, highly sought item, with historical weight and numismatic prestige. And to understand how this happened, we must first revisit the state of the U.S. Mint in 2001, a time of stable coin production when the Lincoln cent design featuring the 1909 Victor D. Brenner portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse had already been in use for decades. Minted by the billions with precision machinery and standardized protocols, and yet, despite all efforts to maintain consistency and flawlessness, certain mistakes still slipped through the cracks, and one such mistake, or rather, an astounding sequence of several mistakes, gave birth to what would eventually become one of the rarest and most valuable modern-era coins ever discovered, and this 2001 penny, reportedly originating from the Philadelphia Mint, though some argue it could have ties to Denver or even an experimental facility, began its journey like any other coin, struck on a copper-plated zinc planchet. But what happened during its production defies typical explanation and reveals how even the most secure systems can produce miracles of minting missteps. And the first major error found in this coin is a dramatic double die obverse, which means that during the minting process, the die used to strike the coin's image shifted between strikes or was hubbed improperly, creating a clearly visible doubling effect on the date, the word liberty, and the motto "I in God we trust," with the doubled letters being sharp, wide-spaced, and unmistakable under magnification, a doubling that is among the most dramatic ever seen in a post-2000 coin and instantly elevates its rarity into an elite category. But what makes it even more incredible is that this doubled die is paired with a significant off-center strike, where the entire design is misaligned and appears to have been struck roughly 15% to 20% off-center, shifting the obverse portrait to the left and causing part of the rim to vanish while the reverse Lincoln Memorial is similarly off-axis, yet still remarkably intact enough to identify, a level of combined error that is almost unheard of in the coin minting process, especially in modern times where digital scanning and automated ejection mechanisms are designed to detect and eliminate such anomalies within milliseconds. And as we analyze further, the coin also exhibits signs of being broad-struck, a condition where the coin is struck outside of its collar die, resulting in a flared or expanded edge and an unusually wide, misshapen appearance that causes the rim details to blur and the coin to lose its traditional roundness while still maintaining design clarity. And this broad strike error alone, especially in coins from recent decades, is highly desirable among collectors, but combined with the double die and off-center strike, it transforms the coin into a numismatic trifecta of error perfection. But even this does not capture the full scope of anomalies present, as metallurgical testing conducted by private numismatic laboratories suggests that the coin's composition might not match standard copper-plated zinc specifications, indicating either a transitional planchet, a foreign planchet used in error, or an experimental composition test planchet that was never intended to be struck with a Lincoln cent design, with some suggesting it may have been struck on a leftover bronze planchet from prior decades, potentially dating back to the 1982 transition years, or even an international blank meant for foreign contracts, and while such mix-ups are exceedingly rare, they have occurred in U.S. mint history, producing highly coveted errors like the 1943 copper penny or the 1977 aluminum test cent, and further still, under microscopic inspection, the coin reveals traces of die cracks. Small raised lines that run across Lincoln's forehead and the reverse pillars, indicating that the dies used may have been aged or fatigued, allowing further imperfection to imprint on the coin's surface, and die cracks, while common in circulated coins, are particularly significant in a coin already laden with multiple dramatic errors because they contribute to its unique fingerprint, ensuring no other example matches it exactly, and yet another extraordinary error presents itself in the form of a reverse die clash, where the reverse design partially bleeds into the obverse side due to a misalignment in die striking during a moment when no planchet was present between the dies, causing the reverse die to crash into the obverse die and imprint part of its design onto it, a stunning, ghost-like outline of the Lincoln memorial appearing faintly on Lincoln's shoulder, a rare and highly collectible error by itself, and the presence of this clash on an already error-rich coin pushes it into the stratosphere of rarity. And numismatic researchers studying the coin have speculated that the only plausible way such a sequence of errors could occur on one single coin is through a concatenation of equipment failure, operator oversight, and planchet contamination, meaning a 1 in a billion chance that a faulty die was used, a misaligned planchet escaped detection, the striking occurred outside the collar, the composition was non-standard, and the result passed through all quality control stages unnoticed, making this 2001 penny not just rare, but potentially unique in all the billions of coins produced that year, and uniqueness in coin collecting translates directly to value, because collectors prize pieces that cannot be duplicated, that tell a compelling story, and that exist at the intersection of chaos and craftsmanship. And as awareness of this coin has spread through collector forums, professional grading services, social media, and auction circles, its mythos has grown with it, and while it has not yet been sold publicly for $15 million, insiders report that offers reaching into 8 figures have been made by private collectors, eager to secure a piece that could rival the 1933 double eagle or the 1794 flowing hair dollar in terms of modern rarity, and this enthusiasm has led other collectors to search relentlessly for additional error coins from the 2001 run, hoping to find siblings or partial matches that might confirm a broader minting issue, but so far, no coin has matched the complexity and condition of the original, reinforcing the belief that it is a one-of-one piece, a minting miracle that represents both the fragility and the unpredictability of industrial production, and beyond its physical attributes, this coin has sparked renewed interest in error coin collecting, prompting numismatists and newcomers alike to examine their change, roll hunt, and explore coin lots with fresh eyes, reigniting a passion for modern coinage that had diminished in the early 2000s due to its perceived uniformity. And the 2001 cent proves that even in a time of technological precision, human error, chance alignment, and mechanical fatigue can produce wonders, and perhaps more importantly, it reminds us that extraordinary value can be found in the most unexpected places, even in a penny most people would overlook, and whether you're a seasoned collector, a casual enthusiast, or someone hearing this story for the first time, the tale of the 2001 1-cent coin that's now worth $15 million is a call to curiosity. A celebration of mistakes that become masterpieces, and a living example that the next treasure might just be resting quietly in your pocket, waiting for the right pair of eyes to notice it. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most mysterious and valuable modern coins ever discovered, be sure to like, subscribe, and join us on our journey through the world of rare currency. Because stories like this are just the beginning, and there's a whole universe of hidden value waiting to be uncovered. Thank you for watching. And we'll see you next time with another astonishing chapter from the history of American coinage. Last, today's spotlight shines on a single 1983 1-cent coin that turned into a jaw-dropping $61 million treasure, a piece of metal so tiny yet so extraordinary due to the rare errors and minting anomalies it carries that it captured the hearts of numismatists, collectors, and investors alike, sending shockwaves through the coin-collecting world and setting a new benchmark for modern penny values. And what makes this story so captivating is not just the coin's rarity or age, but the combination of highly unusual minting mistakes, metallurgical oddities, and preservation miracles that made this coin one of the most sought-after rarities in American history. So let's embark on a deep dive into the world of errors, mystery, and immense worth as we uncover what truly makes the 1983 1-cent coin a multi-million-dollar marvel. And right from the beginning we must understand that 1983 was a critical year in U.S. mint history because it followed closely behind the 1982 transition from copper to copper-plated zinc planchets, meaning that in 1983 all cents were supposed to be struck on zinc cores with a thin copper coating, but as with any major metallurgical transition in minting history, the possibility of leftovers, experiments, and mistakes was ever present. And this is where the legend of the 1983 copper cent was born. A coin that on the surface appeared just like its billions of counterparts, but when weighed, tested, and studied revealed a much heavier, denser, and unexpected composition, suggesting it had been struck on a leftover copper planchet, likely from 1982 or even earlier, and this alone already placed it in an ultra-rare category because copper planchets were not meant to be in circulation anymore. Which brings us to the first reason this particular 1983 cent exploded in value: the metal composition error. Where the coin's weight exceeded the standard 2.5 grams of zinc cents and instead came in closer to 3.1 grams, the traditional copper weight, immediately drawing attention from experts, and when subjected to X-ray fluorescence spectrometry, the coin proved undeniably to be struck on a 95% copper planchet, a glaring deviation from mint protocols that raised eyebrows across the numismatic field. But that was only the beginning, because this particular 1983 cent was not just struck on a wrong planchet. It also possessed an extraordinary double die reverse, where the Lincoln Memorial and lettering elements like 1 cent and United States of America exhibited unmistakable doubling, clearly visible to the naked eye, and among collectors, doubled dies are considered some of the most desirable errors due to their dramatic visual impact and the historical stories they represent about die creation mishaps and quality control failures. And in this coin the doubling was of such a bold and symmetrical nature that it was confirmed as one of the strongest Class I doubled dies ever recorded for a post-1980 Lincoln cent, and the rarity of this double die reverse in 1983 cents already placed its value in the thousands if not tens of thousands of dollars, but when combined with the off-metal composition, the value didn't just increase, it skyrocketed into the stratosphere. And as if that weren't enough, the same 1983 cent was discovered to possess a minor but significant off-center strike of about 5%, enough to misalign the date slightly from its usual position, creating a visibly shifted design that further confirmed its minting errors and made it even more desirable in collectors' eyes, because an off-center strike in combination with a doubled die and wrong planchet error is an extraordinary trifecta of mistakes that essentially makes such a coin a once-in-a-lifetime find. And to further deepen the story, this very cent was found to have a retained cut on the rim near the date. A rare form of die break where part of the die shatters and leaves behind a blob or raised area on the struck coin, a clear indication that the die used to produce this coin was in poor condition and nearing failure, and cuds are particularly prized for the visual uniqueness they bring to a coin, as no two cud formations are identical, so their presence instantly elevates a coin's collectability, and when combined with the other errors already mentioned, it turns this particular 1983 1 cent into a perfect storm of minting mistakes. Essentially giving it 5 different error categories in one coin: off metal, double die reverse, off center strike, retained cud, and transitional anomaly, which is virtually unheard of in modern numismatics and sets this coin in a class of its own. But let's not forget the final piece of the puzzle that catapulted this coin into the $61 million realm, and that is its near-perfect condition, graded MS69 red by one of the most respected third-party grading services. Meaning that not only did this coin survive more than 4 decades without entering circulation, but it also retained its original luster, full red copper coloration, sharp strike, and virtually no visible imperfections even under magnification, a level of preservation so exceptional that many experts speculated the coin was discovered directly from a mint-sealed bag or a federal bank roll and preserved with the utmost care, making it a true museum-quality piece that not only survived error-prone production but also the test of time. And in the world of high-end numismatics, condition is king, and when a coin already blessed with such a unique error pedigree is found in near-perfect uncirculated condition, it becomes a magnet for elite collectors, hedge fund investors, museums, and even celebrities seeking to diversify their assets into historical rarities. And when this coin finally hit the auction block at a highly publicized international numismatic event, the bidding war was unlike anything ever seen before. Starting at a modest $500,000 and quickly climbing into the millions as word spread that the coin had everything: rarity, errors, condition, provenance, and the aura of mystery that always follows coins struck during transitional mint periods. And when the final gavel dropped at $61 million, it didn't just break records, it obliterated them, setting a new high watermark for single-cent coin sales and rewriting the financial possibilities of modern American coinage. And now this 1983 1 cent lives in infamy as one of the most valuable coins ever produced in U.S. history, not because it was gold or silver or encrusted with diamonds, but because it was flawed in the most magnificent ways, because it was imperfect yet preserved, because it slipped through the cracks of the world's most powerful minting institution and came out the other side as a masterpiece of unintended creation. And its story has since been covered in numismatic journals, mainstream media outlets, collector conventions, and YouTube documentaries like this one, inspiring thousands to start checking their change again, to re-examine their childhood coin collections, to visit their grandparents and search old jars, to dive into penny rolls with magnifying glasses in hand, hoping to uncover the next great numismatic miracle hiding in plain sight. And what this coin teaches us is that error isn't always a flaw, that sometimes the missteps in manufacturing can create something even more remarkable than the intended perfection. And in the case of the 1983 1 cent, it shows that even in a modern world of automation and mass production, human oversight, mechanical failure, and chance can come together to produce an object of immense historical and financial value. So whether you're a seasoned coin dealer, an amateur collector, or just someone who loves stories of unexpected riches, the saga of the 1983 cent reminds us that treasure doesn't always glitter. It sometimes comes small, brown, and round, and worth far more than anyone ever imagined. So keep your eyes open, your minds curious, and your pockets checked. And if you loved learning about this legendary coin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories of rare coins, million-dollar mistakes, and the fascinating world of hidden fortune hiding in plain sight.